Hey, what's up, everybody? I am back and I am live. I am Jay Hollingshed, your high performance mindset coach and public speaker. I coach the mind to higher levels of productivity and make it possible for you to earn more income, also to live the life you want to live on your terms. Once again, I'm Jay Hollingshed, and this is episode 125 of 365, and this is my 7 Pillars of Mental Performance series. Thank you so much for tuning in. People are tuning in already. Wow, my brother AJ, of course, front row seat as usual. Thank you. I love you for that, brother. Kevin Merriweather, I appreciate you for tuning in. God bless you, brother. Now, those that want to watch this entire episode or watch this episode in its entirety, feel free to tune into my YouTube channel. Everything I do, my 100 plus episodes are backlogged on YouTube already. And within 24 hours, this episode will be on YouTube as well. So feel free to like, and if you want to bless someone else with this episode as it blesses you, feel free to do so. I greatly appreciate that. D'Angela Michelle, thank you so much for tuning in. Now, today's episode is entitled, of course, it's Managing Stress, because today is day 6 and it's Friday, day 6 of the week. So we're going to go with pillar number 6, which is managing stress. Now, today's episode is totally dedicated to those of you or those of us that have predictable stressors. Now, when I say predictable stressors, I'm talking about situations that we go into all the time, or it can be a long-term situation that is a stressor. Let's take examples. If you have a job that you go to every day, and it is a stressful job. At one time, I had a really, really stressful job. I used to be a firefighter, and there are times when I go to work, I know I'm going to face stressors. Not exactly sure what stressor it is, but there are times that I'm going to face every day. I know I'm going to face something that's stressful. So now I know that I do what I do. I know how to mentally prepare for that. The same thing for those of you that you could be dealing with a loved one that's sick. If somebody can have a terminal illness that you have to be the one to take care of them. You are their caretaker, or they are under your care. That can be a stressful situation as well. So things like that, situations like that, that's who I'm talking to. Patrick Steinberg, I appreciate you for tuning in. You're on the front end of this thing, brother. You're going to catch the whole thing. So those that have predictable stressors, this episode is definitely for you. Now, those of us that have predictable stressors, and if you are one that fits the description that I described, feel free to make it known in the comment section, or if you know someone that has predictable stressors, they live that type of life. Like I said, they could be dealing with someone that they could be caring for a loved one, and that's ill or terminally ill, or that are, they don't function the way that everybody else functions, so they have to take care of them, and that can be emotionally draining. So if you know someone, or if you are that someone that's in an emotionally draining situation, not because someone is draining you, but the fact that the stressful situation, what you have to do is draining, then let me know in the comments below. But that situation, you can prepare for that and make that situation better by practicing. Hey, Christy, how you doing? I appreciate you for tuning in. To prepare for those stressors, you can practice getting through the stressful situations. Now you're like, okay, Jay, you're talking crazy. How am I going to practice getting through stressful situations when I don't know exactly what that stressful situation is? You practice mentally. You mentally practice that stressful situation. You go through a mental rehearsal. I'm going to walk you through that real quick. Now, you mentally practice that. At a certain time of day, you have to do that. I recommend you do that when you first wake up in the morning. Make it part of a morning meditation routine. Now, this is if you are somebody who has these predictable stressors every day. So if you have a morning stressor or a routine, not a morning stressor, but a stressor that's predictable, make it part of your morning routine to mentally go through the stressor. Why do I say morning routine? Because the first 20 minutes after you become conscious and wake up, as soon as you wake up, your mind is like a dry sponge. It wants to absorb information. And that's when you are at your most, when your brain is at the point to where it wants to learn more and more and more. It's at its highest point of absorbency. Your mind is like a dry sponge. You know, when that sponge is really dry, it'll absorb any moisture in the air. So the thing is, your mind is at that state. And that's comparable to the first 5 years of a child's life. That first 5 years is the foundational years of that child's life, because that's when the child's when the child's morals, when the child's values, when the basis of their integrity, all that is formed during the first 5 years. Their character and who they are, that is formed within those first 5 years. So when you do that, first thing in the morning, that first 20 minutes is prime, optimal time. Now, you don't have to use the entire 20 minutes, but what I recommend you do is take at least 5 minutes and walk through a stressful situation. Now, if you know your predictable stressors, you have them in your mind, walk through your situation like this. Start by putting yourself in a position, and you can literally, if the stressful situation was visible, like a physical entity, and you see the stress coming at you, or you see the situation or the circumstance coming at you, this is what I want you to do. Have an imagery and visualization session first thing that morning. And in that session, you see the stressor coming at you. Press pause button. Press the pause button, a mental pause button. You just kind of push pause. And when you push pause mentally, you stop time. You stop time, and it's kind of like you freeze framing everything around you, including the situation. Once you press that pause button, everything stops but you. You have the ability to sit there and walk around your stressor. Your stressor is right there in front of you, but you get to stop and walk around and look at it and examine it, see exactly what it is, and you can actually ask yourself, why is this stressor here? Why is it coming to me? Why do I have to deal with this? And then I would like for you to shift. I suggest you shift your mindset from why is this happening to me to why is this happening for me. When you shift your mind going from to me to for me, you shift from a negative expectancy of the stressor to a positive, you're looking for a positive lesson of the stressor. So you're shifting your mind from a pessimistic point of view to an optimistic point of view. And you're doing that while you're still looking at the stressor, you're studying it, figuring it out, and you actually unwrap it. You unwrap that stressor. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, or you just peeling back, you're opening a gift. And the stressor, the gift of that stressor is on the inside. Now, you look for the lesson in the stressor. Now, mind you, this is easier said than done, but it is possible. And that's why I said it takes practice. It's easier said than done, but at the same time, it's possible. And when you do that, you can find the lesson. You pull it out and you apply it. Look at it and say, oh, okay. Here's the lesson in this. Here's the lesson in this stressor. Now understand this. Life flows. It flows, it comes to you, and it keeps going. It's not like it just appears and stops. Life flows. So understand that everything comes and goes. It comes to pass. So things come to pass and it flows. So your stressor won't be there forever. Everything that has a beginning has an ending. That's just a basic law that's a philosophical law. Everything that has a beginning has an ending, including your stressor. So right now, what you do is tune in to that stressor, unfold it, pull the lesson out of it. Once you pull the lesson out and apply it, then go ahead, you're still in your mind. This is your visual imagery and visualization session. You push pause again or depress the pause button. And as the stressor comes, you can sit there and smile instead of sit there and be frustrated. And your level of expectancy is different because you're not expecting a negative effect or have from a pessimistic mindset. You are expecting a positive outcome from actually having unwrapped the lesson. You know what the lesson is. So you depress that pause button in your mind and you allow the stressor to come. So you can deal with it and it can pass. When you do that, you handle the stressor. The stressor doesn't handle you. Now, like I said in the very beginning, of this broadcast, you are in a situation of having predictable stressors to where you deal with this every day. So you would make this a practice every morning. It just takes about 5 minutes. That's all. 5 minutes to see yourself unwrapping the lesson in the stressors. And once you take that 5 minutes in the morning, you program your mind for that day. Just like I said, the first 20 minutes of the morning is programming the mind for the day. Just like the first 5 years of a child's life programs the child's mind for the child's life. Now, once you've done that, throughout the day, all you have to do is reflect back on the positive lesson. You don't have to go through the whole 5 minutes. Just reflect back and say, hey, the positive lesson, I got that. Howard Carter, Howard Q, what's up, man? How you doing? Frank D, I see you tuning in, Fred. I appreciate you. So that's what you have to do. You have to tune in and pull the positive lesson out of your stressors. Like I said, they don't last forever. They come to pass. They come and go. My Aunt Gina, what's up? How you doing, Gina? I appreciate you. You got in. So that's how you handle the stress instead of your stressors handling you, especially if you are in a position to where you have to deal with stressors every day. You're not speaking these stressors up. This is a stressful situation you have to deal with every day. Like I said, taking care of a terminally ill loved one, or you have a job where that's just a job that is your job is to handle stress. That's just what the job entails. So that's how you deal with those. You deal with those before they deal with you. You hit them first thing in the morning by preparing your mind. And when you program your mind to deal with it, when the stressors come, it's just like a deja vu moment. You've been there, done that. You're telling your mind, I've already been there. I handled that. So bring on another one. Let's go. Let's do this. Because life comes and goes. It comes to pass. Life flows. You know you're not going to have this situation forever. But while the stressor is in front of you, pull the lesson out of it. If the stressor is going to put you through hell, go ahead and get your lesson out of it while you're there, because you're going to keep going. That's all that I have for today in episode 125 of 365. Today's episode has been Managing Stress, and this is my 7 pillars of mental performance in 365 days. I appreciate you for tuning in, and if you want more information on managing stress and handling stress, or any of my other 6 pillars of mental performance, feel free to hit me up at speaktojay.com, speaktojay.com. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Be well, stay blessed, and through love, be a blessing. God bless.